Today we have Lieutenant Dean Woodard-Neary from the Colebrook Fire Department on with us. Hello, Dean.
Hi, how are you all doing?
We have some people live. We have some people right here on Zoom. We'll go over some guidelines. But first, I would like to introduce our guest. How many years have you been working for or volunteering at the Colebrook Fire Department?
It was 10 years this last April.
Awesome. Um, So tonight we'll be talking about fire safety, and we'll go over the basics. But first, we do have another program coming up, which is a collaboration between the Colebrook Fire Department and the library. The Friday before Halloween, you're able to drop off a jack-o'-lantern, and there will be a fire truck in the municipal lot. And you'll be able to find out more about the fire truck and probably ask questions. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, pretty much.
All right. So our guidelines for anyone that's joining us through Zoom, your mics will be muted and your videos are off. It is being recorded and it will be posted online. So we just want to protect everyone's privacy. If you have any questions throughout, post them in the chat. If you're watching through Facebook, write a comment and we will have a Q&A session at the end. So any questions you might have if we don't cover a topic that you think we should, then just let us know and we'll try to answer all the questions. And just make sure that you're keeping all your questions and comments respectful to everyone participating. All right, so we're going to jump right in. And this is a basic overview of the different points that we'll be talking about today. What the problem is, fires, obviously, but we're going to also talk about prevention, and if you can't prevent, how to be prepared, and as well as having a plan. So this will be an interview, so I'll just ask questions, and then Dean will answer them. So jumping right on in, if you're joining us through Zoom, you should be seeing a poll. All right. So the poll is, what is the top cause of house fires in the North Country? If you're joining through Facebook, comment what you think the answer is. And we'll end that in a few minutes. A few seconds, actually. All right, I'm going to end the polling. So you should be able to see the answers now. So multiple options. It looks like outdoor campfires was the most popular one. Someone answered cooking, faulty wiring, and smoking. So Dean, what is the top cause for house fires in the North Country?
So nationally, the top cause of house fires, according to the National Fire Protection Association, is cooking fires, kitchen fires. So obviously you have, if you have a stove in your house, you have a heat source right there. And to create fire, the fire nerd in me is going to come out a little bit. So in the fire service, we have what's called the fire triangle, and it's the three things that it takes for a fire to start. And the three items are a heat source, oxygen, and a fuel. So if you had with your stove is your heat source. You have oxygen in the air around you. And if you have something on top of the stove, a towel, or if I'm cooking, I always burn the food anyways. So there's a fuel right there. So you have all three items of the triangle connecting on top of the stove, creating a fire. Um, there's also the fire tetrahedron, which throws in the chemical reaction into that, but I won't bore you with all that stuff.
It
Um,
seems a little too technical for me.
yeah, so it's cooking fires nationally is the number one cause, and cooking fire kitchen safety has been the big push this year uh, through Fire Prevention Week last week, and um, throughout this whole month, with it being fire prevention month, because with everything going on with COVID-19, there are a lot more people at home, not going out to eat or ordering out, so they're cooking more, which uh, has been resulting in more kitchen fires. The second half of that is we're coming up on a big holiday next month, my favorite holiday, which is all about cooking and food. So Thanksgiving is the single day of the year with the most reported fires in the country. So
Well, thank you for that. So that's the problem, and we got to figure out how to prevent it. So, do you have any tips on cooking safety? I'm sure not putting towels and not burning your food would be some simple ones. Are there other
yeah,
bigger issues that you see?
the biggest prevention items when it comes to cooking fires is making sure you don't have any clutter around any heating source, toasters, microwaves, stovetops, ovens, um, easy bake ovens, anything like that. You want to make sure there's no clutter around them. Um, you want to make sure that you pay attention to your food when you're cooking it. You don't want to be running back and forth, chasing after kids, or watching a football game and running back and forth, trying to keep up with the score. You want to solely focus on what you're cooking. And a third thing would be making sure you if you have little ones running around, making sure that they're not too close to the stove so that you can trip over them, or we when we went to the school this week to do fire prevention, we were teaching the kids. We were talking to them about during COVID-19, we have our 6 foot social distancing. Well, we need to social distance 3 feet away from the stove. So you want to help them remember to keep that 3 foot space around the stove when people are cooking.
All makes so much sense. I don't know if you have any information about this, but anything about like oil cooking, is that more burns and
So
stuff?
so um, grease fires is one of the biggest um, types of fires within the kitchen. So if you're cooking something that has grease and a fire starts in the pan that's full of grease, do not throw water on it. There are tons of videos on YouTube, and you can go look them up, of people throwing water on grease fires, and it escalates the situation tremendously. And it's the worst thing you can do is throw water onto a grease fire. You want to take a lid and cover the fire and smother the fire out instead of trying to put water on it and cool the fire. So you're trying to remove the oxygen leg of the triangle.
So is that the recommended course of action if it's like confined to a pan?
if you can safely do that, then yes. If you
All
cannot
right.
safely do that, leave the building, call 911, and we'll take care of it.
Awesome. So being prepared for any type of house fire. When we're little, everyone, you need smoke detectors, you need fire extinguishers. So how many of each should I have?
So, smoke detectors, you want to have one smoke detector in every sleeping room in your house. You want to have, in addition to that, you want to have at least one smoke detector on every level of your house, including the basement. And I know some people, we're talking about the kitchen. So there are a lot of people that purposefully don't put a smoke detector in their kitchen for my reasons of burning food. But having it adjacent to the kitchen is a good thing, good place to have a smoke detector. Either batteries or hardwire detectors are good. Hardwire detectors are really good because when one goes off, the whole building goes off. So if a fire occurs downstairs in the basement and you're on the top floor or up in the attic, you might not be able to hear one smoke detector going off downstairs. But if they're wired together, the smoke detector closest to you will be going off also. And along with smoke detectors, it's important to remember to test your smoke detectors every month. There's a simple button on it. You just go up, push the button, make sure that it works. And you want to change your batteries twice a year. Every time we change our clocks, you should change your batteries in your smoke detectors. Usually smoke detectors are good for maximum of 10 years. After 10 years, you need to get rid of those smoke detectors and get some new ones. But,
That was a lot of information, but
sorry.
pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
Um, Easy tip to remember, changing clocks, changing batteries.
Absolutely.
And
Fire extinguishers, uh, having at least one is a good idea. If it's in the kitchen or close to the kitchen, is a really good idea. Again, the biggest thing, if you can safely uh, use a fire extinguisher, that's the biggest thing. Is you want to make sure that you are safe to do it and you're not um, hindering your escape out of the building if the extinguisher does not put the fire out. Um, it's all your comfort level. When using a fire extinguisher, you want to remember the acronym PASS, PASS. It stands for pulling the pin. On the gauge, right above the gauge in the handle, there's a pin that locks it so you can't accidentally turn on the extinguisher. So you pull the pin, you aim the hose at the base of the fire, you squeeze the handle, and you sweep, moving the nozzle, the hose back and forth at the base of the fire. And that will help put the fire out. So PASS, PASS.
I know I've seen like TV shows about being a certain number of feet away. There's an episode of Monk where on the on the extinguisher it says this many feet. Will it always have all those instructions on the fire extinguisher you have, or is there
Yeah,
anything you have to remember?
all fire extinguishers are made for firemen to use, so they're pretty much foolproof. But all the instructions are written on the side of the extinguisher. So uh, going over that before you have a fire is a good idea. Standing there trying to read the label while your house is on fire probably isn't the best idea. So being prepared and going over that ahead of time is really good.
Awesome. And I know there's different sizes. Are there specific types that are best to have in houses compared
Yeah,
to in
definitely.
businesses?
So the number one fire extinguisher to have is called an ABC extinguisher. Uh, there are five, six, cla- six classifications, five or six classifications of fires. Basically, what kind of fire it is. So A fires are electrical fires, energized electrical fires. B is flammable liquids, and C is your maybe I don't remember energized electrical, flammable liquids, and ordinary combustibles like paper and wood. The which letter is which I might have mixed up, but those are the three that they cover. Uh, Outside of that, there are specific kitchen grease fire extinguishers for commercial kitchens, uh, different extinguishers for factories that use a specific kind of metal that's flammable. So, but in your house, you want to have an ABC extinguisher.
Awesome. If people have questions about smoke detectors, fire extinguishers, how would they go about finding answers?
You can message us on our Facebook page. That's probably the easiest and quickest way to do it.
Sounds simple to me. All right, and next step is planning. Um, so how many exits should you have out of every room?
So the big push in fire prevention is two ways out of every room, either a door or a window, two doors. I guess it could be two windows. I don't know why you wouldn't have a door in a room, but having two ways out is the biggest thing. In case one way is blocked and you can't get out that way, you have a second way to get out. And so once you get out of the building, you want to have a safe distance, move a safe distance away from the building. And you we try to teach especially kids when we go to the schools and do fire prevention. They do fire drills at school. They should be doing fire drills at home. Um, it's really easy. Every month when you're testing your smoke detectors, set the smoke detector off and have everyone exit the house and do a fire drill. Have a gathering place outside, some place that's not going to move, like a tree or a mailbox, away from the house. You you don't want to have it be a vehicle because there could be the chance that the vehicle is not there in the event of a fire. So you want to make sure that it's an object that's not going to move. Um, yeah.
All right. Is there a certain thing to avoid if fire trucks are coming? Avoid being where the fire truck would be, or how is that usually handled?
Uh, for people leaving their house,
Yes.
just try it. We just ask that you get a distance away from the house. So we'll make it work, however the situation is. So don't worry about us. We'll make it work. Just make sure that you take care of yourselves and get out of the house.
All
Make sure
right.
everyone's out of the house. Never go back into the house until uh, it's safe to do so. So if a family pet is left inside, make sure that you tell someone on the fire department, and that'll be our priority. It's going in and looking for doing search and rescue for people and pets. Um, did that answer your question?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. We went right through that, and those are all the questions I posed. Does anyone else have any more questions You can post them in the chat or comment on Facebook. Any questions you have about fire safety, about any of the topics we discussed, a topic we didn't discuss. All right, I'm not seeing any questions. So I have a few polls to share with everyone. So, do you think you have enough fire extinguishers in your home? All right, so half of the group said yes, half say no. Is there a good place to get fire extinguishers?
Yeah, you can go right to Hicks's, and they have fire extinguishers there.
Awesome. All right, next question. Do you think you have enough smoke detectors in your house? All right, so for that one, 3 people said no. One person said, I don't know. Where could people get fire or smoke detectors?
Also at Hicks's, they have smoke detectors there. If finances are an issue, you can reach out to the department, and we'll make sure that we can help facilitate people to get smoke detectors.
Awesome. Well, that's good to know. Any other information that you've thought of that would be good to share with everyone? You did mention your Facebook page, and that's just Colebrook Fire Department.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah. So just one quick thing, we were talking about smoke detectors. Another important thing is carbon monoxide detectors. It's getting to be cold weather, so the furnaces are kicking on, and you want to make sure that you take the time to make sure your furnace is cleaned and in good working order. And you want to make sure that you get some carbon monoxide detectors. Personally, I would stay away from combination CO and smoke detectors, because smoke detectors you want to place on the ceiling, and because smoke rises, and carbon monoxide detectors you want low to the ground, because carbon monoxide is heavier than air, so it'll sink down. So having combination detectors, you're kind of missing out on one or the other. So
Do you know if those are also available in town?
I believe so. I'm not
All
100%
right.
sure.
That's good to look into. All right, since I don't see any questions yet, I think that will conclude tonight's discussion. Thank you so much, Dean, for coming on and sharing with us. Thank you, everyone, for joining us through Facebook, through Zoom, and I hope you all learned as much as I did. And please stay safe coming up on Thanksgiving and all the cooking that I'm sure everyone is doing now. And just a heads up, our next discussion will be Friday, October 30th, 5 p.m. again. Same process, register online, and we'll be talking about domestic violence awareness. October is also Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and Megan Fellows will be joining us through the organization Response, who has an office in town. And so we'll learn more about what that organization has to offer and different red flags in relationships and how to spot domestic violence. So thank you again and have a great night.